Hey guys, Coach Ray here. So 2 days ago, Kingdom Table 8 happened, and it was absolute magic. It was probably one of my favorite moments in arm wrestling, just because of the impact of the match between John Brzenk and Alexey Voevoda. Uh, I always thought the card looked really good, and it did not disappoint. And we saw a lot of things. We saw three losing streaks end. We see some great performance from Matt Mask. We saw amazing arm wrestling from Lars Sorbakin that surprised us all. Chance and Kalichenko, that was a good match. And of course, the match of the night, Lachlan and Krasimir just went to a hook war. I was afraid that it will ruin my relationship with Krasimir, but it didn't. It did not disappoint. Those boys are amazing, and I was so happy to be part of it. But of course, pulling John 2, how we like to call it with Jake, pulling John 2 happened right in front of our eyes. And for me, like I said, I want to talk about it. How I felt about the match before being here, talking with the athletes, and how it all changed, and just a feeling. So for me, because it was one of the first things I saw when I joined Arm Wrestling World, right? I think 2010 was the first time I saw the movie, and I was like, this is insane. I was intrigued with John. I was intrigued with Travis. I was definitely a fan of Voevoda, right? All of us went and did some crazy training, and then you thought, like, I'm a such a bitch, you know. That this man is lifting like cars, and then, yeah. And one of the biggest moments in World of Arm Wrestling happened 19 years ago on Zloty Tour, and it was put in documentary. And this is why it hit so hard, because there was a big weight of the match, and I really never thought I would ever see a rematch, and we did. Um, First, let's talk about Alexei. I did two-part interview with Alexei that is in Russian with English subtitles, just to get it more in his head and get the feeling. And he was like very articulate, very smart. The man is not just here to lift weights anymore. He wants longevity. He wants to feel good. He wants to be an athlete, and in any case, he wants to challenge himself. And challenge himself, he did. Talking with him, and if you watch those interviews, if you haven't, little spoilers, he was saying some things like, back in the day I was training and I was arm wrestling every day. And now he didn't get a chance to arm wrestle as much as he wanted. He said, the weights, it's always good to lift weights so you know you're strong. But there are things like John doesn't lift any of those crazy weights, and he's stronger, right? And that is the most impressive thing about that man. He shows that there is something special in him. Like there's something really, really special in his genes. I know a lot of guys that will take time off, they will just arm wrestle, and they will not reach the levels, right, that they were doing before they were lifting weights. John goes beyond them, which is kind of insane. Alexei said that he needed more time to prepare for this, but his whole life has changed, right? Uh, and when we talk about like how much arm wrestling have you done, like John, think about this. Alexei started arm wrestling 2000 and quit at 2007. Then a little bit in 2016. That's 8 years, right? John's been arm wrestling since he's been a kid. So John is literally 35, 40 years ahead of Alexei in arm wrestling. And what we know, it takes away. When you're not competing, it's really hard to get back in. When you're competing and you're on a roll, you might win some, lose some, but you are, and if you're not getting injured, you are on a roll. You will do much better than if you just take a big break and then try to come back in what we think better shape. And we have seen this before. Like I think Gennady wasn't the same Gennady when he came back, right? A lot of the guys that we see are coming back after some time off. It takes them time to get back where they're, even a little bit of their best form. Except John, right? John was in the deep end straight away when he unretired for 10,000 time, and because I really think that man is absolutely special. Like there's something completely different with him. How his body works, how his arm works. There's so much miles on that arm, and it is insane arm. And the whole match was absolutely insane. Alexei, like he has changed his life completely after he left arm wrestling. So he went to bobsleigh, and he's a super athlete in my opinion. Like that man could literally do any explosive sport that he wanted to, and he had great success in the sport that he chose to do, bobsled. Two-time Olympic champion and world champion, and he achieved what he wanted to achieve. Um, he was very smart about many aspects, and he has changed his thinking since like 2004, and he said it on camera as well. So if you haven't watched those interviews, go and watch them. But just talking with him, I had a sense of feeling that he thinks like the big part and the big factor will be not arm wrestling, right? Not getting as much table practice as he wanted to. When you reach that certain level, it's very hard to find good training partners, and of course, not competing is also hard. The thing that I was extremely surprised, Alexey's always been explosive, and I also saw him warming up and doing some just insane hits, and John stopped them all without the strap, in the strap. I was so surprised about that. So we go to John. John in Turkey for East versus West 9, and John here, I can see like his body that he just got confidence. He got maybe a little bit bigger. He wasn't that much bigger. Even now, Alexey was bigger than John. But with John, it's very hard to find motivation in him. You have seen this. I think if you follow his career, you will see that a lot of times John just shows up to arm wrestle, and his winning incentive isn't just like that much. But in this definitely meant something. I think if you again go back to history, John 2004. After that, 2006, 7, John just came in like a destroyer of the worlds, right? He was in different shape, and he was hoping, in my opinion, to meet Alexey again and to see, what is what at that point. Because 2004, John, he was semi-retired for, again, 10,000 time, really not in that best shape. He had wars in 95 kilo class where he usually doesn't have any wars, just runs through everyone, and then has tougher matches in super heavyweights. But yeah, this time, super motivated. And I think one of the things that was telling was him getting in that hook battle, trying to get Alexey in a hook. Trying to get Alexey in a hook in round number 4. After the match end, he was willing to lose it all. Think about this. Like, he was willing to lose it all just to get that win in a hook. And this is a pattern of John, and you will see it again all throughout his career. And one of the things that made the man great, because is making him great. He's still here, and he's still gonna arm wrestle best of the best on the planet. It's just absolutely insane. So many matches that we wanted to see. King of the Table is giving us, and East versus West is giving us, Arm Wars, Monster Factory, all the other promotions. There's, it's a good time for arm wrestling. Definitely a good time for arm wrestling. But I talked with Alexey. I said, like, why didn't you commit to a hook with John? And he said he has some elbow issues that have been bothering him. I think he had some surgeries there as well. And he said he didn't feel confident there. And I think for John was trying so hard to turn him in, but Alexey was committing 100% to be for a top roll, that he even went to fully open arm top roll at one point, and he didn't want any part of that. And of course, I think like if you don't feel confident, you shouldn't go there. Different John. Even like if you look at that match, his expression on his face, like, it meant a lot. He will not say it, but it meant the world to him, and I'm happy that it did. And I'm happy that we saw he got back one. He got this back. And if I really hope Alexey stays and competes, and there's so many guys for him to pull. The problem is everyone always thinks like straight to the top, right? After taking some time off. And a lot of guys will be able to do it, but it's a lot of time off. It's too much time off, in my opinion. And it's like the world has changed. Arm wrestling has changed. Not a lot. It's still arm wrestling, but it's hard to figure out where your level is when you're not competing. I just don't want him to quit. I would love to see more of him. And when he gets into the groove, when he gets more and more arm wrestling, right, then I would love to see a rematch one more time with John. If John is still doing things, which it definitely is. He just had 10 match contract with King of the Table and East vs. West, right? So we will see a lot more of John. And speaking of a lot more, the next thing we're gonna see is John Brzenk versus Sasha Andreev, and it's gonna happen on East versus West 10, November 11. Yeah, and then also on that card we're gonna see Devon Larratt versus Denis Siplenko. That card is probably the best card I have ever seen. This just yeah, and I say it every time, but every time it is. And I think more arm wrestlers are given opportunity to arm wrestle. More arm wrestlers are given opportunity to speak for people to resonate with them. I think more interest will be in this sport. I had amazing opportunity in King of the Table and East versus West to have opportunity to do interviews with these guys. And the whole idea is to ask maybe the questions that people want to know, as well as show a little bit of who they are, right? Because people love Devon because he's Devon. People love John because he's John, even if he loses, right? So there are those things, and there's so many people in the sport, and everyone can have their own favorites and who they like and who they dislike. Some will really like Kalinchenko's sunglasses, some will hate the gimmick, but whoever you are, there's more. Arm wrestling is way more than we ever thought, and it's just gonna get bigger. Big matches coming up. This was definitely, for me, huge moment. I'm forever going to be part of this history, which is amazing, and I'd never expected it. Like 2010, 13 years ago, when I was watching this documentary, sitting at my home on my old computer, and just being amazed with the whole movie. Watched it like 3 times in a row, I think. Like every day, I would just start doing some kettlebell lifts with a belt in my room there. And just thinking like, at least I would love to see those guys live. Would love to see them pull, right? I wasn't thinking about this, and thank you all for being part of this. And yeah, I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna try my best to get more, get better, and do more things for this great sport. Because I think in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, arm wrestling will go to the moon. Definitely, it's on a trajectory that is never been before. This is the best time ever, and the fans absolutely first time. And this is the interesting part, is usually all the fans in arm wrestling were arm wrestlers, right? Everyone who loved arm wrestling was also arm wrestling. But we're seeing time when you guys are not even arm wrestling, but you just love the sport. Of course, I would love you to arm wrestle, but I'm okay with you just loving the sport. Yeah, I will have questions about this. So while I want to end this video, I'm going to say something about this. So for years, I have problems with my ulnar nerve. It's like adding side pressure hurts and my fingers hurt. It gets better, it gets worse. And I just put it to pull it back and take a little tension away. So I have a little bit relief on my nerve right now. And the weird thing is, I had huge allergic reactions to kinesio tape. I tried all different kinesio tapes, and now I have tried, I think, 2 different types, and no allergic reaction. And last time I tested them, I think maybe 2012, 13, 14, something like that, and I just couldn't. And they always helped me, but I couldn't, because I would put them on, and like 3 hours later, rash, like insane rash. I was just like a junkie. If anyone knows how that works, I'll be interested. Let me know in the comment section. Yep. Some more content coming here from this weekend. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank everyone, Core Sports, who's been involved behind the scenes, on the camera, off the camera, all the athletes, everyone. You watching at home, it was an amazing experience. Pulling John 2 was a major success. Stay strong. Love arm wrestling.